What's up, everybody? We're back. Episode 21 of the End of the Bench Show, where the fans go. Got Pat here with me today on his weekly spot. He changed up his setting on me. He's doing it outside. He's catching a nice tan while we record.
It's a nice breeze right now. It was a little hot today, so I figured take advantage of the nice chill weather that we got.
Yeah, dude, it was brutal today. I went on 3 walks. So I went at 7:30, and then like 1 o'clock, and then like 6 o'clock. Oh my god! I had to. This is the 4th shirt I'm wearing today because I slept through all of them.
I got my change of clothes constantly too. I've been doing I've been going for runs and everything, getting back into the fitness. And I mean, I like going when it's a little hot, getting that sweat going. But when you're done, you just feel nasty and disgusting. The last thing you want to do is,
Yeah, and I could barely afford to like leave work for those like that half hour, so it's like I can't even shower. I know you've been running. I wanted to run this week, but as I told you in the group chat, which I guess will peel back the curtain a little, I have a bruised rib, so I can't can't really run.
And I've got shin splints, man. My legs are been killing me, but I've been able to fight through that shit. I just gotta get ready for softball season, man. Softball season's starting up.
July 12th, right?
That's the scheduled date. No schedule as of yet. I'm constantly monitoring the ABA site. They got the divisions up, but they don't have the teams placed yet. I think registration is still through the end of this week. So I guess they're waiting for that to close before making anything else.
Yeah, I hope I'm ready to go on opening day. That's for sure.
You'll be good.
Dvorsky texts me like every day, making sure I'm not doing anything stupid, and then I tell him that I was doing something stupid, and he gets mad at me. So it's a nice little cycle we have going right now.
Well, there you go. It works out perfectly.
But yeah, dude, I didn't tell you the full story of how I heard it, right?
I don't think so.
The only person I told was John and Dvorsky. So I mean, I'll tell the listeners. It's a funny story. So, I was in Massachusetts this weekend for the bachelor party.
Yeah, sure.
So, my friend Kevin McLaughlin, shout out. He's written in before on our NBA questions. Has a lake house on Cheshire Lake. So he has a boat, a little pontoon boat. It's docked there and everything. And he has, like, rowboats and kayaks. So it was a great spot. So the day starts, right? It's Saturday. I want to go in the rowboat. And I'm not good with water, so this took like a lot for me to do.
You're not good with water as in you don't like it, or?
Petrified of the water.
Oh, okay.
Did
not know that, but.
Yeah. So, we're taking the rowboat out, me and Kevin. I cut my hand on the fucking boat. That's how the day starts. So I gotta get the first aid kit, gotta get a Band-Aid. So I'm already a mess. My mom made her world famous bean dip for the occasion. Friends were super excited to have it. They really only have it you have it more often than they have it, and you only have it at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm making it, whatever. I take it out of the oven. I'm walking to the boat. It's like 6:30, 7 o'clock maybe at this point, drinking all day. Open. My friend goes to open the boat door. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't need it. I'll just hop over. Bean dip in my hand.
I can already see where this is going.
One leg got over. I didn't want to step on the plates, and then my other leg got stuck. Tripped over the door. Bean dip went flying everywhere, including on my shirt, which I had to throw out. Fell chest first into like the couch, like the arm part of the couch. Yeah. It was like the wooden part of it, like not the soft part of it. Smacked I thought like I couldn't breathe for a minute.
That's what you get for trying to be like, oh no, Rico Suave. I don't need the door. I'll just climb right over it.
I was literally doing that all day. I didn't need the door once the whole trip, but my friends were really nice. They didn't start to laugh until they knew like I was at least like able to breathe.
Well, that's a good friend for you then, to make sure you're okay. And then once they find out you are, then be like, oh, you fucking idiot. Like,
well, none of them got up to help me. They just wanted to make sure they could laugh. Although my friend Matt was a gem, and he cleaned up the entire boat so that I didn't have to like have that weighing on my conscience the rest of my life. But But yeah, that's it. Down for the count. After that, it was it's pretty rough. It's probably when I told John the story, I was like, just picture like Kevin from The Office when he drops the chili, and
That
that was
lovely
essentially
scene.
it. That was essentially it.
That's pretty awesome. But on a boat.
But on a boat,
That's funny.
Drunk as fuck.
That's a hilarious scene. So just picturing that, and then you on a boat with bean dip. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh God. I mean, I told my friends, I told my family, it's only funny because of the bean dip. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, it's the prop that makes it. The fact that you're carrying a nice appetizer.
Delicious, right out of the oven. I didn't even wait. Literally 2 minutes ago, it was in the oven. So I probably burned some of my chest too, but whatever.
Probably.
So I had to throw out one of my favorite shirts because I didn't want to pack it with the mess on it.
Hey, at least it wasn't your current shirt.
Yeah, no. Well, honestly, Pat, I have like 9 more of these under the bench shirts, so
Oh well,
it would have been okay. But yeah, I agree. It would have really cramped the style of the end of the bench show shirts. So yeah, I had bean dip all over me. Well, I was a mess. You know what else is a mess, Pat? Let's get into our first topic here. It's Jamal Adams and the Jets. So we have 2 topics on the table today. One, I think our listeners can easily guess, partially because I already made the episode title, so they'll see it, and the other part because we've talked baseball extensively on this show.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to start off with the Jets. I wanted to start off with the Jets and Jamal Adams. This happened, I think, literally like 10 minutes after we recorded on Wednesday. I think I got the word about Jamal Adams, which was fantastic timing. For those of you who don't know, he has, I guess, formally told the Jets he wants to trade. I mean, to put it.
Yeah, I don't know how it's specifically done, but he has stated. I don't know if he directly said it with the front office, with Joe Douglas and company, but he is looking to get out of New York. He still feels that he is not. The Jets have not made him and his contract extension a priority. I believe he still has 2 years left on his rookie deal, and he basically wants to get paid now. And he doesn't see the Jets as the long-term fit for him, or at least that's what he's saying right now. In the past, he said other things. Now he's saying this. So he's looking to get out, and he did list a bunch of teams. I don't have the list on top of me right now. You have the list? Okay, yeah.
So I'll read the teams, and then we'll get into it. So according to Schefter, because I think Schefter's list is the official list, so it's the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. And then the article also says, according to ESPN's Ryan Clark, Adams would also be open to a trade to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because, why the
I heard that one too. Yeah.
So what's interesting about his list is not counting the Buccaneers. Every team on it was in the playoffs last year, besides the Cowboys, I think. Well, every team was in the second round of the playoffs besides the Cowboys last year. But the Cowboys are his hometown team.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that he is not making it a priority to certain teams that they have to redo his deal right away. Apparently, that's only a contingency for the Jets, which is fantastic. But I don't know, pal. What do you think? I mean, obviously, I understand Jamal Adams does not like losing. That's fair. No one likes losing. But I mean, there's a lot of time left on his deal. I don't know if the Jets are really doing anything wrong here by not making it a priority.
I don't think they're doing anything wrong. I think they're just doing what they can, especially with everything that's going on in the world at the moment. Yeah. I'm looking at it at both sides. Jamal Adams is definitely the cornerstone of that defense. He is a leader on that team. And I personally, as a Jet fan, would love to see him in the green and white for the remainder of his career, because I do think he is one of the best, if not the best, safeties in the National Football League. Right. However, he is speaking as though, the Jets just aren't talking to him because they don't feel like it. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Not to mention, he does still have several years left on his rookie contract.
Yeah.
I understand that he wants to get paid now. Football being the sport that it is, you only have so many years to make your money. So I understand that, but I mean, going out and just blabbering on Twitter and requesting a trade and just basically acting, in a sense, very childish about the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a little immature, and I hate seeing that. Not to mention the Jets hold all the cards here, because Joe Douglas has been pretty adamant saying, like, we're not trading him. We will get a deal done, but we have other things that we want to, control first.
Right.
I think ultimately they do try and get a deal done, but I would like to say that Douglas isn't going to trade him, but I mean, if you get a right deal, go for it. But I think Joe Douglas does want to see Jamal Adams here. And Jamal Adams also could just be saying this to try and quicken the process, but it's not going to do anything because he has no leverage. He's still on his rookie deal. Joe Douglas still, is the one who's going to control when he's going to get that offer, if he gets the offer or anything like that. So the only thing he has right now is talk. And, I mean, that's what's making the news.
Yeah, and I mean, I get, what you're saying, like maybe he's thinking if he says this, like Joe Douglas will budge and, loosen up his stance on the contract. But, like, I feel like we haven't seen Joe Douglas budge off of much. Like, he's
not
going to
gonna
his guns pretty well on everything. I mean, he didn't go out and, like, make a flashy free agent move, which you would sometimes think, first-year GMs would try to do. He really stuck to his beliefs in the draft, didn't do anything, like, sexy there, just, did his job. Like, I don't think Jamal Adams is going to be the guy with the multiple years left on his deal to make him budge. Like, and it's also not his draft pick, which also, I mean, which kind of plays a role in it because, it's not Joe Douglas's fault that we drafted him 10th or 12th overall or whatever, and made him kind of outplay his rookie deal so early.
Yeah, I mean. Like I was saying, I mean, Adams absolutely deserves the money. But what he's doing right now is not gonna, it's not gonna get you there. And not to mention, you can request to any team that you want. Douglas doesn't have to be like, okay, I'll look to just trade you to those teams. One, Douglas can say, I'm not trading you. Or two, I'm going to trade you to any goddamn team I want if I get a nice return. I don't care if they're on your list.
And why would Joe Douglas even want to trade him to these teams?
I don't see any reason. Any of those teams, there's no reason. But I also don't see any reason. I also don't see any reason to trade him at this point. Like, I understand from what I've also read, a big factor of why Adams is constantly bickering or, doing what he's doing right now. And again, I'm just saying that I love Jamal Adams. Like, I'm a huge fan of Jamal Adams. You know that. I think, like I said, best safety in the league. Very, very key to that defense, which is hopefully going to play a big role now that the Brady-less Patriots are, now occurring. Crap, I lost my train of thought. But I mean, complaining like this, it's not going to go anywhere. And Adams has also stated like another reason where he's possibly looking for a trade. It's because he can't get along with Adam Gase. And again, he's not the only player who has said he's had problems with Adam Gase. So maybe the problem is you don't get rid of Adams, you get rid of Gase, and maybe all problems are solved. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I never liked the Gase hire to begin with. I don't know about you. But, I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't understand why Jamal Adams gives a shit about Adam Gase, to be completely honest. He's on the defensive side of the ball. He basically answers to Greg Williams. I think he only really cares about Adam Gase because he clearly controls people's money. Like he has been very vocal that he wouldn't have paid Le'Veon Bell as much as the Jets did. So, like, maybe Adams connects those dots to him. I don't know, but I think what Adams really has to worry about, because I don't think he's going to get traded this offseason. I think the best time to trade him is, at the draft. So it would have been a few months ago, or maybe, maybe next year.
If he wasn't traded at the draft, he's not going anywhere this year.
Right,
he can complain all he wants.
Right, you're not going to trade him in season. And what gets me as a fan, Pat, is that, like, all these other teams that he lists, right? Oh, I don't care. I just want to play for you. You don't have to re-up me right away. I only care about the money if I have to stay with the Jets. So, like, what is it? Do you want money or do you want to win? because like
Yeah.
he's just talking out both sides of his mouth, basically talking out of his ass at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of tired of the Jamal Adams like bullshit that comes. Like, I feel like he's just fucking bored in quarantine and needs to like get the.
I mean,
fuck
that
out
could
of the
be it.
house.
I mean, it's just getting to that point where he's becoming almost like a diva wide receiver, or we've seen so many guys pull this. I'm going to hold out until I get my deal, and again, rightfully so. They deserve the money, but most of those guys who are doing that are guys who are on their contract year. Adam still has 2 years left. Again, no leverage on his side. The Jets are holding all the cards right now. So the only thing he can do is use the power of Twitter and Instagram and everything like that. Again, he could also just be blowing smoke up everyone's asses and just be like, I'm just saying this so I can get my money now. But I think ultimately it's not going to work. He's going to be a Jet for the foreseeable future unless a dynamite offer is put on the table for Joe Douglas that he just can't say no. And I don't see that happening, especially now prior to the season. If it was going to happen, it was going to be on draft day.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. I think the only way Jamal Adams gets his money now is if he gets traded to the Cowboys, because Jerry Jones already has set precedent of paying guys, with 2 years left on his deal, because that's when he re-upped Zeke. And I'm sure Jamal Adams can, preach, oh, I just love Dallas, I love my hometown. No, he wants to go there because he thinks he could weasel Jerry Jones out of money, because I'm sure he can. Worst players have weaseled Jerry Jones.
Good for him if he can. But it's not going to work right now. So he can continue talking everything he wants. The media can continue to hype up, oh, is he going to go? Is he not going to go? Whatever it may be. As far as I'm still concerned, Jamal Adams is a New York Jet, and it's going to remain that way for the time being.
Yeah, I think that's really all I want to say on Jamal Adams, because I think I want to focus a lot more on baseball, and I know you do too. So we're gonna leave it there. But bottom line, Jamal Adams, I love you, but I could almost take it or leave it at this point, because I'm just tired of the bullshit. The bullshit we were tired of, Pat, is hearing all this crap about baseball and the owners and the players not getting along, or they still don't get along. But believe it or not, guys, we have a season. So let's break it down, Pat. So July 1st, players will report to the abbreviated camp. Looks like it's 2-3 weeks long.
Roughly, I think we're looking at about
20
days. About 21, 22 days roughly is what we're looking at.
Yeah, so the regular season will start July 23rd and 24th, which is good. I'm scheduled to be on vacation that whole week, so of course they pick the fucking weekend to start.
And I am off that Friday, so I'm happy with that too.
Yeah. So 60 game schedule. All right, which is kind of what we thought it was gonna get to. You play the division, I think 40 games within the division.
Yeah, it's going to be 40 games within your division and then 20 with your AL or NL counterparts. So for the Yankees, it's going to be 40 against the AL East and then the remaining 20 against the NL East, and same thing for the Mets, it makes sense. I mean, it's the best thing that you can do with the current climate and everything like that. There's no point of having to go cross country for the Yanks to play the Angels or the Mets to play the Dodgers or whatever like that. I mean, it all
planes involved though.
Yeah, there's gonna be planes involved, but we're talking like maybe 2-3 hour flight minimum, not a 6 hour cross country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm talking about flights because of COVID. I don't care how long the players have to be on a chartered jet. It's just still a risky thing to fly during COVID. I think I'm
losing you a little bit, Scott.
I lost.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Well, I mean, my internet has been fine. I'm out here. I'm good. Sorry, you were saying.
I just don't know, with the planes, they're not going cross country, but they're still flying, and they're still gonna have people, touching their luggage. They're still gonna have security. They're still gonna have to get to a hotel. They're still gonna have to get from the hotel to the ballpark. It's a lot of travel.
Flights have been occurring over this, COVID quarantine. It happens.
Yeah, but it's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing. I understand. Look, I know a lot of people are still going to be very, very upset that sports are even coming back, with everything going on, especially with the anticipated second wave that they expect to occur. And rightfully so. You're allowed to have the concerns. I have the concerns as well. But I mean, it's gotten to a point where we're kind of doing everything that we can. I mean, like, the leagues and all that are doing everything can to take precaution, everything like that. If we as a country also want to kind of stop this, we kind of need to listen to the guidelines that we're given. I know we have a lot of vigilantes who kind of don't want to do that, and those same vigilantes could be also the ones who are saying, this virus, who cares? We just want our sports back, whatever. If you want sports back on a normal basis, you got to start listening. But I don't want to get into, the political side of it or anything like that. I just want to, get into how happy I am that baseball is back, at least for the time being, with the CBA next year expiring. I mean, who knows what's going to happen then. I don't like it, but
you better enjoy these 60 games.
That's exactly. I'm going to enjoy the baseball that we're going to get, because after the season, we have no idea really the good or bad that could come out of it. And I don't know. It doesn't look promising. I don't know what you think about it. With the CBA expiring, the union and the owners just not get on the same page. I think. I mean, I really do think that we are going to have a strike on our hands.
Yeah, and I mean, Pat, I got lost with all these updates happening. So I think it's important to know, was this actually an agreement, or was this Manfred saying this is what's happening and you have to agree to it?
This is all right. So the last proposal that they had given, the league had given to the players union, was the 60-game schedule. All of that. The biggest thing in that was that the union was not allowed to file grievance against the league for the negotiations and everything that was going on.
Yeah, and the players turned that down.
Yeah, the players turned that down. So Manfred was like, okay, well, this is done. We're done negotiating. You're going to play the 60 games like we had in the proposal. And I believe the way I'm seeing is that the players still have that right to file that grievance, which they probably will end up doing.
They will.
So they're going to end up doing that. But it is an implementation based on the commissioner. And, I know we thought that a lot of players are just going to be like, well, we're not playing or whatever. That's not what I'm seeing. Players are ready to go out there, and they're just going to let their union delegates deal with any of the repercussions that the union wants to go against with the league.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because I think that's a very important part to hammer home, not hammer home, but to mention, because that's kind of what speaks to the players and the owners not really being at the best of terms still. But yeah, so I mean, there's still going to be some ugly stuff coming out, even though baseball's back. But
yeah, it's not going to be pretty. I mean, these games are really been put on for the fans, and for the players to finally get back out. But behind the scenes, it's still going to be very nasty.
Yeah, so let's get into some of these rules. So I mean, we did the schedule, postseason format. There's no change there because the players turned down the extended playoffs in that last proposal.
Which I got to say, I kind of like. I didn't like the idea of a 16-team playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with it for this year. I was more upset that they turned down the being mic'd up, to be honest. I thought that was kind of bad. But
yeah, that again comes down to the marketing of it. But whatever. At this point, there's nothing else that we can say or.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Pat, because we talked about marketing a lot last time. I think this kind of brings us back to that. Brings back to what I was saying. The players also have to help themselves, and right now, they didn't help themselves.
Yeah, no.
And they gave baseball nothing to work with. They could have easily done this together. But I mean, they could have done this together.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll do more in-game interviews or whatever like that. We don't know anything yet. But yeah, they didn't agree to the mic'd up during the game, which sucks. But it's what it is.
So one of the rules, Pat. I mean, it's big because it's new, but it's not super big in terms of outrage, in my opinion, anyway. The designated hitter will be used in both leagues.
Yes. And
Pat, I
for
mean, you're the
those,
National League guy, so I want you to kind of break down,
yeah.
like, especially for the Mets, because I think it really helps them. But what are some other teams that like this could really, could really help?
Well, I mean, it's tough. I really have to look like, you know, um, team by team, but a couple of guys that pop out to me like almost immediately is a guy like Daniel Murphy on the
Mm-hmm.
Rockies. Always been known for his bat. Never been really a glove first guy. I don't know if they have him slated at second or first nowadays, but
I think
he'd
it's
be a guy
first.
he's be a guy who's perfect for the DH. And then the Dodgers have a lot of big guys
Mm-hmm.
on the field, especially now. They had the whole Jock Peterson, AJ Pollock, Bellinger, Betts outfield. Who's that fourth man who's going to take a DH spot. I think a guy who will take a DH spot there is probably going to be maybe a Peterson because he's another guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the
It could
glove,
be anyone,
but
man, honestly.
it really could be any one of those four. I think it's either going to be Peterson or Pollock.
Yeah.
But
Could be Muncy too, right?
Muncy's going to play first.
Yeah, but
Muncy's
you
going to
could
be your
put
first baseman.
Bellinger at first and DH Muncy and
You could. Yeah, you could do that. I guess it's all a matter of, I mean, they might give Bellinger his preference to be like, yo, what do you want to do? Do you want to play outfield? I mean, he is going to be the reigning NL MVP. So, I mean, they might be like, yo, you want to play outfield? And we have,
mm-hmm.
Whoever the fourth outfielder is be the DH, or you want to go to first, get back to first, and we'll put Max over at DH. I think Muncy will be happy with either. He can just flat out hit. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It can go either way for them. I'm just kind of I'm pretty happy to see a DH. I've been a proponent of it for a few years now. I know, like many years ago down the line, I was completely against it. But then I started looking at the facts, and just the DH just makes so much sense. And for anyone who has been a fan of the End of the Bench website and has seen my post from a few years ago, I expressed all the reasons why the universal DH at this point makes sense. Another reason for that is going to be, again, the pitchers don't hit nowadays. Everybody who is a proponent for pitchers hitting, I want you to give me a reason other than strategy. Or you like seeing a pitcher go deep. The strategy portion, I understand, but it's not fully going to make or break winning teams or the winning of a game or anything like that. It's big, obviously, but it's not going to be a make or break decision, I think. And wanting to see a pitcher go deep, with every one pitcher who can mash like a Bumgarner or a Greinke or a DeGrom or Syndergaard, whoever, there's still like 10 to 20 guys who can't hit, period. So that argument is completely invalid. I don't know, but Bartolo never would have went deep. I'm like, okay,
who cares?
No one was expecting him to. It was a great moment in history, but I don't want to see a pitcher come up in a certain spot and we got a man on first and second, and it's only the third inning. We got a man on second and third. We're down by a run. Let's get these 2 runs, and we got a pitcher up. All right, so what are you going to do? Like, you're not going to pinch hit. Guess we're just going to get an out here. Like, it just makes more sense to have the universal DH for many different reasons.
It's just
so I think I like seeing the pitcher hit, but a lot of the times it was such a just like a rally killer, I would say. And it's like, oh, here comes the pitcher. Right? He's either going to bunt or he's going to strike out. Or there have literally been pitchers who've been told to go up there and just stand there. Don't even bother. Like, we're just going to get you back in and out. And again, another thing on that is nowadays, from college through upper levels in the minors, pitchers don't hit. Like, they don't get any cuts. Everyone has a DH. So you get a guy who's coming up in the AL system who will never have to hit. And then you got these interleague games. Now you're telling this guy who's never had an at-bat once in his life, grab a bat and go up there against a Max Scherzer or something. Like, oh, okay, this is going to be fun.
Go hit 97.
Yeah, so like, you're basically telling them to go up there and be like, just stand up there, don't bother. Like, come on. It's getting to a point that you just have to accept the universal DH.
Yeah, and I mean, what's almost worse than watching a pitcher hit is watching him run the bases or just, like, run at all. It's
And
first
there
of
have been
all,
many pitchers who've gotten hurt from that.
yes. First of all, it's just it's a heart attack waiting to happen as a
Yeah.
fan. Second of all, it's not aesthetically pleasing, and that's really it. But yeah, I mean, designated hitter is something I'm a Yankee fan, American League
Yeah.
guy, extremely used to. I never really understood like why the NL wanted to be different. It is what it is.
Well, the NL is the
Go ahead,
quote
Bob.
unquote senior circuit. So like as the years years and years ago, the pitchers were a regular player, but these were guys who hit on a daily basis. I mean, the game has changed so much. Guys
Yeah.
are just now developed in a sense to either be just pitchers or just hitters. Now it's not like it was, not even like 20, 30 years ago. I mean, compared to like what it was 50 years ago, it's just a completely different game nowadays. Not to mention where this is now a league that strives on offense.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you want a position that gives you the more offense that you want to see? Like, I know diehard baseball fans love a good pitcher's duel. I do too. But if you want to, if Manfred and company or whatever want to get the fans in the seats, I mean, look at what guys like Pete Alonso did and Aaron Judge did a few years ago. Crushing home runs. Look at what we talked about this last week. Look at what 1998 did for the sport. It's the offense that's going to bring people into the stands. What's going to keep them there is, getting to know the love of the game and then getting to understand and respect of the pitchers and everything like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's important to know, like, as of right now, pitchers will hit again in 2021, and we'll see what happens. But I would like to see the universal DHs be permanent.
They're gonna, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna look at the numbers, and even within those 60 games, if there's like a significant increase in terms of like National League Baseball or whatever, they're just gonna be like, all right, we're gonna get the universal DH. I think it's gonna happen.
I don't know, Pat. Maybe Manfred's like, oh, I don't know, that extra DH in the NL.
If he does that,
3 more minutes, Pat.
If he does that, I think we already know he's the absolute worst commissioner. I think if he does that and doesn't see what good offense will bring in, he is an absolute complete and utter dumbass.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about a sport that you want to get more fans into the stadium. And we talked about what 1998 did for the sport. Now you're implementing a new position that generates offense, and you're going to take it away after, a trial run of 60 games. You're going to be right back to where you started, especially with everything going on right now. The state of baseball being as fragile as it is, you could be just so stupid to do that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of pressure on the nationally designated hitters out there. Better fucking perform so Rob Manfred keeps this in.
Plenty of teams have options.
But the players also have to agree to have it in, so let's not get, all jacked up.
Hey, I think they noticed that it's an extra, extra position for their players, their employees. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
All right, let's keep moving. So camps are going to take place at the ballparks, their home cities, so that's great. The Yankees and Mets will be in New York. Stop by the stadium, say hi to everyone, wear a mask while you do it. There's going to be a trade deadline, Pat, which I cannot fucking understand.
I don't get that. It makes no sense. I mean, I understand you wanted to put it in there, but for like a playoff push, but you're getting less than a month, really, or maybe a little over a month. Like, what are you going to, like?
You're not going to trade something meaningful, right?
No.
Like, there's no way. I guess you could trade an expiring if you really wanted to, but like maybe someone will sign Puig for a year now and just trade him at the deadline and get something.
It's possible. I mean,
but you're not going to see massive. I'd have to imagine you wouldn't see massive deals.
I don't think you're really going to see any deals, to be honest with you. If it is, it's going to be like a very small bench piece. You're not going to see any. I don't think you're going to see any major guys who are have these dead expiring contracts or anything. I mean, you might, but I don't see it happening.
There's not there are win now teams. Like, as a Yankee fan, like coming into the season, I wouldn't say it was championship or bust, but I definitely wanted to see them in the World Series. Like, I think it's about time. But I think with the shortened season, that kind of goes out the window. Like, I don't expect the Yankees to make a big win now push move
I don't know what
on
moving.
August 30th.
I don't know what you can assess what you need within 1 month when, a normal season, you don't know what you need technically until like maybe a week before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Like so many deals happen on the absolute deadline that's something that you have to assess from, April 1st to July 30th. Like you have all that time. Now you're saying you can assess what is needed to win a title within a month's time frame. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, even if you win a title this year, people are going to look at it and be like, well, it was 60 games. Who cares? So it's like, yeah, you won. Like, I mean, as a Met fan, I'm going to be like, oh, yes, we fucking won finally. But I'm going to look at it also and be like, 60 games. So, I mean, I'm happy, but let's go back out there and prove that it wasn't, let's see if we can do it over 162. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only person who actually thinks that, but I'm not saying the title won't be legitimate, but it's just going to be, there's going to be always going to look back and be like, oh, it was the shortened season of 2020. So, I mean, how much water can it really hold?
Yeah, I'm not getting amped up about it yet because I'm still kind of negative on I don't know if COVID's going to let this whole season happen, but but anyway, so what will the rosters look like? So each club for the first 2 weeks will have a 30-man roster, and then 28 for the next 2 weeks, 26 for the remainder of the season, which is what it was supposed to be. All year. So teams will have 60 players eligible to play in 2020, which will be your 40-man plus a taxi squad of 20 players. So
I like that though.
So I mean it's cool. I think it kind of helps the deeper teams, but kind of also hurts them a little.
Well, I'm looking at it more as if you're gonna have so many back-to-back games. I don't know if they've discussed any possibilities of doubleheaders or anything, but there's gonna be a lot of back-to-back games with not a lot of off days. So you're gonna have guys, specifically I think pitchers, who may not be able to go, numerous days. So you're gonna have that taxi squad, which is good to have. In terms of the strategic input of what teams can get from it, I think it can only help them really. You get fresh arms, fresh legs, a fresh guy off the bench or whatever you have to do. How do you think it could really hurt a team having more guys available to you when needed?
Because I feel like teams aren't gonna, because it's such a short season, I feel like teams are just gonna not really try to use that fringe depth guy because every game is gonna matter.
That's fair. Fair assessment.
And I also think because I think it'll work great when your roster for the first 2 weeks is 30 and then the next two it's 28. But when it gets down to 26, I mean you're kind of your team is what your team is.
But then this is where you can also say I think we're having technical. Yeah, there we go. I heard what you said. What I was saying to it is, but now you're going to have teams that really think strategically in terms of who they want on their bench or their taxi squad or anything like that. It's not going to be that fringe depth guy. They're not going to put just some random Joe Schmo who they just need because there's a body there. I think they're really going to look deep into their farm systems and be like, all right, so we know these guys are major league ready. We're not just going to put them there because, hey, they're on the AAA team or whatever. So I think this is now where you might see a lot of prospects who were maybe a year or so away might be put on that taxi squad, and you might go see what they can do.
You know why I don't worry about this, Pat? I just figured it out. It's because Brian Cashman is the Yankees GM, and I don't have to worry about what he does.
Yeah, you're pretty
basically
set there, so.
If you give him 60 guys, he's not going to make that many mistakes.
I'm a guy I was a Met fan. I'd trust Cashman in terms of what he does. So
I hope so. All right, so I think Pat,
how can you not?
Yeah, I think Pat, it's time to get to the rule that has swept the nation. And I'm going to read this word for word. With a tight schedule and a desire to limit time on the field, the minor league rule for extra innings will be in effect. That means every half inning after the ninth will begin with a runner on second base. The designated runner would be the player who made the final out in the prior half inning, or a pinch runner for that player, yada, yada, yada. please note this is only in place for 2020 and only in effect for the regular season. So, Pat, when I heard it, lost my shit. Totally lost my shit.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you lost your shit too because you're very quiet, and that's how you get when you're really thinking about what to say.
I hated when they had this idea, when they first mentioned it like a year or two ago, and the fact that now it has to be a thing, it does annoy me. But now you kind of think, what would you rather see? Would you rather see this rule input, or would you like to see a tie after like 12 innings? Well, if I had to choose, then I'm going to go with the runner on second. I hate it, but I'm going to pick the lesser of two evils personally.
Honestly, I don't mind this rule if it is after like more than like after 9 is just not like feasible. Like I don't want to watch a 13, 14 inning game. So if you tell me like
I'll watch 13, 14 inning game.
But like if you say like after the 11th or after the 12th,
you'd be a little bit more.
Yeah, after the 9th, I mean like no. No. That's like no. I just no, honestly. That's my reaction to it.
I agree with you there. I think that'd be good, but overall, I hate it. I hate the fact that it's even after. I would hate it after the 12th, but
yeah,
I'd rather see this than a tie after X amount of innings.
I don't want to see a tie. That's for sure.
No, baseball ties that's not happen in baseball. I definitely not a fan of the rule, but if it's only here for 1 year, I pray that the idiots in that major league office don't see it and be like, "Oh, this worked out kind of well. Let's implement it going forward." No, just no. I understand you want to do it. Just get the season done, get a game in, whatever it may be. But let it 60 games. After that, throw it in the garbage. Put it on the garbage truck. Bring it down to the dump. Let them do what they got to do with it because that's just a terrible rule. So let's also just note so that the fans also know the pitcher wouldn't be charged with an earned run. I know it really does much, but
I was so concerned.
But some pitchers might have been. You'd be like, oh, so I got to get charged an earned run there because this stupid rule's in effect.
Yeah,
I mean, as a pitcher, I would get. Yeah, I mean, they could.
Yeah. But what are you doing, Pat? Are you like? Because what I think of is like a lot of bullpen pitchers, which would be pitching in these situations. Yeah. They can't hold runners on. So are you bunting to third, or are you just gonna have them straight steal? If you got a speedy guy, and then
it depends on who you got. I saw a tweet. Someone tweeted about this earlier with this change. I forget what team he's on now, honestly. But Billy Hamilton. Let's say you got bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the ninth or bottom of the ninth. Billy Hamilton's up. Billy Hamilton can't hit. As a manager, you'd be like, all right, so let's do this. Strike out on purpose. Let's hold him in the top half, and then now you get to start on second base. Your fastest runner gets to start on second base because he was the last guy out.
Yeah.
People who like strategy, what do you do there? You going to have Billy Hamilton swing away, potentially ruin the game? Or maybe just save it and tell him to strike out, put his ass on second, and then a bloop single ends the game. So
Billy Hamilton's on the Giants, so it won't matter.
He is a Giants. Okay. Well, I mean,
he's going to lose regardless.
I mean, strategy does come into it. I think you might see guys who'd be like, all right, now just bunt to the first base side, get him to third. Then you get 2 outs. Yeah. I mean, obviously, the sabermetrics guys are going to disagree with that. But you only need the 1 run. So get the guy to third. I mean, your chances can be kind of slim, but, I mean, it's different when you only need the 1 run. It's not like you're bunted to tie and then hopefully get, the run, get it back or whatever. You're bunting for the win. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know, if this is really going to speed it up, Pat, because I feel like
it's not going to. Well,
I feel like if the away team scores, then the home team could just as easily score in the bottom half, and then just keep going back and forth.
You want to know why I think the game necessarily is not going to speed up as much as some people may think? Because regardless of what you do, there still needs to be 3 outs. 3 outs still have to be committed. So it's not like any other sport where you could be like, all right, we're going to reduce the time for this to be 5 minutes instead of 10, or whatever it may be. There's no time limit. You still have to get 3 outs. That could take 10 minutes, or it could take 30 minutes. It doesn't matter. Like 3 outs is 3 outs. So the whole pace of play or whatever, it makes no sense because the rules are still, you got to get the 3 outs. So it is what it is.
It is what it is, but it was definitely like the most outrageous.
Hopefully we only have to deal with it for the 60 games, and once it's all said and done, we don't have to look at it again.
Hopefully. There's a few other gameplay items that are going to be affected. The 3-batter minimum for relief pitchers is still intact. That was going to be new to 2020, and it still is new to 2020. There was supposed to be a new restriction for 2020 that said position players could only pitch if the game was in extra innings or their team was ahead or trailing by more than 6 runs. I didn't actually know that, so that's interesting. But that goes away this season. And then suspended games, if a game gets cut short due to weather before it becomes official, it'll be continued at a later date rather than started from scratch. So that's kind of interesting. Also kind of whatever. I'm not going to go into the protocols, Pat, because I think we can kind of...
You can get an idea of what they're going to be doing.
It's the same thing everyone else is doing.
A lot of testing, a lot of, just monitoring, everything like that. One thing I did find kind of interesting, if I can just bring it up with the protocols. It says here, players and other team personnel not participating in the game will be sitting in the stands at least 6 feet apart. So I'm wondering, does that mean it's dumb? I understand why they'd want to do it, though, because the way you think about it, we'll look at starting pitchers who are not scheduled to play that game.
All right, so go. No,
I'm saying that's the only main reason as to why they would go about doing that. If that were the case, I'd just be like, guys, just watch the game from the fucking clubhouse then. So or whatever.
So
it's gonna be weird, but again, what are you gonna do?
What team's starting rotation is gonna be chilling in the 5th row with a cooler full of beers watching the game?
I could definitely see the Mets and company doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe the Nationals.
Hilarious.
I don't know. I could totally see Kershaw just sitting back on his off day and just yelling shit to the stands, yelling shit from the stands at Walker Buehler and be like, "You fucking suck," or just something like that.
I hope that happens. I think it's
that would be funny. I think that would be cool. Hearing or seeing that, and you'd be able to hear them because there's gonna be no one in the fucking stadium. So I think that'd be pretty funny, personally.
Right. So you don't have to even be mic'd up. Everyone.
No, you just be able to hear them. Yeah,
and as long as it's not vulgar and clean, good trash talk and chirping. I think it'll be kind of fun. It'll add something.
Just constant lines from the Sandlot. Just
because
butt sniffer, fart smeller, just.
Because the NBA, they haven't announced yet whether players who aren't playing in the game can go. So I was listening to the JJ Redick podcast and he had Pat Connaughton on, and he was like, "Could you imagine the Bucks just show up to a game because that's the team he plays on?" And it's a big free throw late in the game, and Giannis just stands up behind the net and starts acting a fool and trying to distract everyone. That'd be fucking awesome. And
that'd be funny. It'd be funny to see.
That'd be fucking dope.
Go behind home plate and just be like, "Come get me," or just something like that. It'd be funny.
It'd be funny people don't see that side of baseball.
No, you don't. That's the thing. And then there were a couple other things I kind of thought was funny. This is directly from the MLB. A ball will be thrown out once it has been touched by multiple players.
Yeah, most
balls don't last more than 12 pitches. Between the changing of balls and constant foul balls or whatever like that. And then this is funny. This had to be put in here. It's a huge thing. Fights are strictly prohibited.
Okay.
So you're saying they were prohibited before. So you're saying they were prohibited before. Okay. What do you think? If something happens, what are you gonna stop them from being hey, if it wasn't COVID, I'd come out there. It's kind of funny.
The Reds who'd the Reds get in a brawl with
Pirates.
last year? The Reds and Pirates still playing, right? There will be a fight. I don't give a fuck.
Right? Can you imagine like Amir Garrett just like throwing at someone and someone talking shit? They'd be like, "You can't come over," and be like, "Bitch, try me. I'm coming over there. I don't
Yeah,
give a fuck."
he's
Like,
going. The last thing I want to get into is if a player tests positive for COVID. So this is straight from MLB website. There will be a COVID-19 related injured list with no minimum or maximum length of placement. I feel like they want to be vague for just the safety of being vague, but I don't think they could be vague with this like rule.
yeah.
Like, I don't know. It stood out to me. Like, I'm sure that once it happens, they will, adjust accordingly. But like, that's the biggest one, because if it's a long time, like it's only 60 games, a game a day. You're missing, like, if you get COVID and you have to miss 14 days, that's like 25% of the season.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of players. I'm assuming a lot of minor league guys for like the Blue Jays and the Phillies who have tested positive.
So did Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's gonna happen. A lot of people are gonna get it. I mean, the Phillies
a lot of people are going to get it, and
already.
I think we are going to see that spike again in the fall. And I think that was a big fear that both sides may have had, but
yeah,
I understand completely that there might be a spike, but I don't want to live in fear and have that kind of like if that was the reason why there was no season, I would have completely understood. Like just take the year off, start fresh again. But and then it became more about the money negotiations and everything like that. So it can't even be like, oh, we're canceling for COVID. I'm like, no, if you want to cancel for COVID, you would have done that months ago and not had the PR disaster of the constant negotiations that you would have had. So I mean, the only thing that we can do at this point is just take it day by day and see what happens. If for any unfortunate reason the virus does kick back up again in the fall and it cuts the season short, God forbid that doesn't happen. We'll worry about it then. I hate to be like that ignorant about it, but what can we do or say right now that could affect I mean, we know what we can do right now in terms of, wear your mask, be productive, be, protective, whatever it is. But we as fans, like, there's nothing that we can do. It's a matter of, how they can protect themselves and what happens when it comes to potential spike or whatever.
Yeah. And then staying on the injured list, there's no 60-day DL. It'll be 45 days instead. And then MLB has the right to relocate teams in the regular season and postseason to neutral sites for health and safety reasons. I think that'll be pretty interesting if it actually happens. I'd like to. I mean, with all the hot spots being, Florida, Arizona, those are pretty prime spots to move to, and those are probably going to be off the table. So I'm pretty interested to see where, especially like if it's God forbid, and I hope it doesn't, but if it's New York, you got to move 2 teams, or if it's like the whole state of California, you have to move all those teams. That would be a fucking disaster. I lost Pat again, which is fine. We're gonna wrap it up here anyway. Pat, are you there? I think I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. I gotta do a lot of fucking editing with this tonight.
Sorry about that, my man.
That's fine.
All right, it's just this thing. But I was just saying, now that you're talking about, hotspots and everything like that, it was actually funny. I was explaining it to my brother. Katie was sitting with me. And she was like, I didn't even think about this. She was actually smart to think about this. She's like, what about the Blue Jays in Canada? Like, are they going to be able to cross the border, like, constantly, like teams coming from, whatever? And I was like, that's actually a really good question. Like, I'm wondering how they're going to deal with that, because technically you do have to, what are the Blue Jays going to do? They're not going to have their home games there? I mean,
I guess that's a possibility. The other possibility with that my head jumped to right away is that they'll just pay someone off to make it happen.
I mean, yeah, that could happen too.
That'll probably be what happens, to be honest. We're gonna wrap it up here, Pat. I think this was the first happy baseball podcast we've ever done, which is exciting. There's going to be more. Hopefully, there's going to be more happy ones to come. Tomorrow, I am being joined by Perkowski again. We're going to do an offensive NFL lineup, which is going to be a lot of fun. I know Perkowski's already. I have to try to make mine differently than him. I'm going to basically do it tonight while I'm editing this, so that should be fun. But Pat, I appreciate you taking the time, fighting through some technical difficulties, so hopefully when the listeners listen to this, it'll be nice and smooth. But yeah, man, any last words?
I did just receive something from Bleacher Report about my New York Mets. I'm going to say it here. Give me 1 sec. No. Wilpon's motivated to sell Mets. Mets owners are looking to sell the team before end of the year and will take first-round bids in July.
I've never met a person not motivated to make $3 billion, so I don't really.
I'm sorry. Do you not know the Wilpons?
That could go under the.
They had the opportunity to get that money, and they were like, "Nah, I want to fiddle with the deal or whatever." So let's see what happens there.
I'm not believing anything until a check is cut. So that's that. I hope they sell the team for all my Met fans out there. But Pat, that's it, man. Follow us on Instagram at @the_on_the_bench, Twitter at @theEOTB, and be a supporter. The support link is in all the podcast descriptions. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back soon.